Tokens live stream. You will notice Sydney and Cam are unfortunately out this week. They are on vacation. So we wish them all the best, and we will not be live streaming next week due to more vacations. So best of luck. Find something good to do, something good and fun to do. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. So, with that out of the way, we have an important announcement. We are upgrading our production capability to hopefully get the table tokens to you guys faster. We'll keep you updated on that. Also, if you have not filled out your surveys yet, let us know. Get them filled out. If you need the link again, let us know. We can make sure that you get that. So, I think that takes care of the general housekeeping for now. Without further ado, let's jump straight into our live stream. So let's make sure I get you guys all on the right one. Last time, the group had entered a room identical to a room that they'd entered before. They're currently exploring the Temple of Dragonreach. They had fought 2 Hellhounds previously. They entered the door on the end of the room that had unlocked and found 3 Hellhounds staring them down. Yes, I just had to count to make sure 3 Hellhounds staring them down. After a brief rest, after defeating the Hellhounds in combat, they decided to take a brief rest. Meanwhile, both Helen and Sildar have left this map and are in a different area as they walked through the door on the far side of the room into the darkness. Now, in the meantime, the rest of the party is taking a short rest. So, parties, what would you like to do?
Well, I'm having a bit of a conundrum right now because I'm through making the tiny hut. I'm realizing that the party is not coming back. So
only Helen and Sildar have gone.
Yeah, the rest of you guys are all there. Just Helen and Sildar are gone.
Well, I can't think of a strong enough reason for me to stay and not follow them. If they haven't returned.
Definitely something Matthias can do if Matthias would want to.
Yeah,
if Matthias wishes.
How hard was Brielle hit last combat? Because I think she actually needed the short rest and it was out of spells.
She is at max HP.
Oh.
Yeah. Brielle can get back 3 levels worth of spells, I believe.
Oh yeah, and we took a long rest before the battle, so she should be fine. But
I would say have Brielle recover a 3rd level spell slot. And
Ellie.
We'll call that good. Wait, is it 3rd level?
Ellie.
Yeah, it's 3rd level.
Okay. Brielle has recovered 1 3rd level spell slot. So, Matthias, yes, you have finished the hut. No Helen, no Sildar. As you're doing the hut, Brielle approaches Artemilis and asks to see the book that Artemilis took from the first room.
I pull out the history tome and show her.
Okay. Brielle's going to start reading in the history tome. Okay, and her eyes open wide, because remember, it was a tome on ethics and manners in the various kingdoms in Voyon. As she comes across a passage referring to proper etiquette in the kingdom of Valarin when approaching property guarded by an animal, which is to leave the property, contact the owner, and arrange a way to visit.
Oh.
She then hands the book back to you, Artemilis.
Does she tell us or just find it?
Oh no, she tells you. She's kind of reading out loud as she's reading through this.
Okay, so if you find a property guarded by animals, leave and set up a meeting with the owner?
Yes.
Okay. we've gone through two rooms of animal guards. We
Didn't do that. Nope.
So we could go back, I suppose. I mean, these are fun to fight, but I'm not looking forward to them continuing to grow in numbers.
Yep. So after that passage has been read, I think we'll go back, or I will go back and suggest that everyone follow. I'll make another tiny hut. It's a ritual spell.
Good plan. I love
Okay.
How
So
many
by
zombies
going
can she have?
2.
She would probably raise another one of the hellhounds.
She can get all the way up to over time. She can keep raising more, but she has to renew her control of them every 24 hours. And she can maintain control of up to 4.
Okay. So she'll burn her 3rd level spell because this is something I think Sydney would do to
Yeah.
cast Animate Dead, bring blue one back. So by go back, Matthias, do you mean you're going through the door?
The one behind us. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, the one behind you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if she can have up to 4, she would probably animate the other 2.
She can't. She can only animate 1 per the casting of the spell.
Mm.
Yep.
And she only had 1 level 3 spell to cast. So,
Makes sense.
yeah. By the way, Matthias is gone. As you are doing what you do, Matthias walks through the door back here and vanishes, leaving Artemiles. Brielle will follow him through, leaving Artemiles and Ichabod alone in the room with dead hellhounds.
I'm gonna go through the door.
Okay, Artemiles, what are you going to do?
I'll follow.
Okay, perfect. That lets us come up to the next one that now I have to add these 2 dead hellhounds to. But we'll move all of the players into this room. You come through to see both Helen and Sildar in tiger form stalking around, looking at 10 statues lined up against the wall. There is 1 statue in the middle of a tall Eladrin king, a summer elf, a great sword strapped across his back, a staff at his sides, and his hands outstretched like this. At the base of the statue is engraved the following text: "Bring to me the greatest weapon, coveted by all kings. It brings warriors to ruin and ends all battles."
Can I
Now
roll?
you'll
I would like to see what I know about this king.
make a
I'm going to start
history
looking at the
check.
weapons.
I'm gonna start
She
casting
is an
damage.
Eladrin, so
Andrew, I'm going to look at all the weapons and have detect magic on.
Okay.
she got a nat 20, so a 22 for her history, and she is Eladrin.
You are very certain that this is no single figure in Eladrin history. Just a generic, almost a generic kingly elven sculpture, but not meant to depict any specific figure.
Okay.
With inspecting the weapons, so this statue with the red dot is holding a warhammer. With each of these statues has a name inscribed at the base of the pedestal. This one, the red one, is holding a warhammer with the name Deathbringer. The warhammer is bright yellow with a leather handle. The green, right here, is holding a glaive. Merciful Deliverance is the name. The blade is bright blue, and the handle is made of braided black leather. Now the purple one, right here, is holding a pike. Quicksilver is inscribed at the bottom of the base. And I will add all of these names after I go through, after I finish describing them to you. So Quicksilver is at the base of the purple. It's a dark green jade blade with a bamboo handle. Yellow is holding a quarterstaff. Midnight Sun is inscribed at the base. It's braided dark and light wood with teal crystal inlays. The snail down here is holding a weapon called Kingslayer. It's emanating a slight magical essence. It's a black handle with a milk white head sculpted into the pommel and a milk white blade. Now, if you go to the blank one, it's holding a longbow, also giving off a slight magical essence. Widowmaker is inscribed at the bottom. It's cherry wood with yellow crystal inlays. If we come up to the lightning bolt, the text is Dragon Slayer. No, my apologies. The text is Peacemaker. It's a long sword, rusted with an olive branch wrapped around the hilt. The pink one is Dragon.
On the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like the olive branch is part of the sword?
It is a olive branch. It is not carved into the sword. So an olive branch wrapped around the hilt of Peacemaker.
Got it.
With the pink one, that's the dragon one. That one is Dragon's Breath. It's a trident. It's dark golden and it's highly reflective with an abyssal inscription. Up here with the orange one, that is Giant's Might.
What is the abyssal inscription say?
The abyssal inscription is praising Orcus, the demonic god of the undead.
That's not a happy thing.
The orange one, this one is called Giant's Might. It's a maul. The head is a giant skull with the mouth open and the maul protruding from it. And then last but not least, we have the blue one, Oath Shatterer. It's a great sword. It's blood red with elvish inscriptions on the blade, depicting, for those of you who can read Elvish, depicting records of treacherous acts. So let me post these in here. So
I'm gonna go back
after you post them. Can you rewrite the riddle as well?
Yes.
Artemili's first impression is that he's always been taught that knowledge is what all leaders have sought, but that could be a high elf thing.
So the riddle is that it's an enemy of kings and ends all wars, right?
Yes. So you've got Deathbringer, you've got Oath Shatterer, you've got Merciful Deliverance. Right here,
I'm pretty sure it's the peace one with the olive branch.
I'm
Giant's Might.
Going to pick up the Peacegivers, or what is it, Peacebringer?
Peacemaker. Yes.
I'm going to recommend that you wait until I've finished casting my ritual on Liamon's tiny hut, in case this ends in a battle.
In that case, I'm not going to pick it up yet. I'm just going to examine.
Okay. So the sword Peacemaker is also giving off a slight magical essence.
What school of magic is it? Can I see, or can I tell?
This school of magic is... my apologies. This is buried in my notes.
Can I make a check to see if any of these weapons are actually legendary?
Yes, that would be a history check. So it's not necessarily a specific school, more of universal, similar to other magical weapons that you have seen.
Okay.
Oh, a
22 on history.
Okay.
He did like weapons when he was in school.
Hey, dog.
Oh, it's a puppy.
Yes.
So there we go, and the riddle is right here. Okay, so of the weapons, so Oath Shatterer, the greatsword, the blood red greatsword with elvish inscriptions, There was a legendary weapon named Oath Shatterer. That was actually the sword that was wielded by the dragon Eden when she was in human form. It received its name after she struck down Arya Voyan, the sorceress who founded this continent, in an act of betrayal. Midnight Sun was the name of a legendary quarterstaff wielded by an ancient monk said to be more skilled than any who has ever been born. And Kingslayer as well. There are references to a bladed weapon named Kingslayer in many historical texts that keeps popping up time and time again. A blade that continually seems to be used in assassinations. It changes form depending on the story. Sometimes it's a dagger, sometimes a long sword, sometimes a short sword, and sometimes a rapier. But every time that it shows up, a king or royalty is slain.
All right.
The
Matthias,
others have no stories.
Others have none that you know.
What is the status on your hut?
That's entirely up to the DM's discretion. Though I imagine if that any amount of time has passed, it should be done by now.
Yeah, it's been about 10 minutes, so the hut
All right.
pops up.
I'm going to walk over to Peacemaker, and I am going to attempt to remove the olive branch from the sword, seeing
Okay.
that they are indeed separate.
Takes a little bit of work. You have to be a little careful taking it off, but it seems fairly supple, fairly strong, fresh almost, and you're able, without much difficulty, to remove the olive branch from the hilt of the sword.
I will return to the group inside the hut and say, what do you think? Should we give the olive branch to the king in the middle? Or should we try one of the weapons?
I think it makes the most sense. There's one line in the riddle that it may not apply to, which is coveted by all kings. And I would like to think that all kings like peace, but I have maybe heard of kings that have not wanted peace.
That is true. Perhaps if the riddle said all good kings, it would make a lot more sense.
I will tell everyone the stories that I know of the three weapons. But
Well, shall we try it? And if we have to fight, we have a shelter?
I would suggest, if we can, that we think about it possibly not quite as literally, because among the Elven, at least my people, there is a saying that knowledge is power. It's coveted by kings. It can definitely be warriors. I mean, we have quite the mages here in the group, and we can see the power of knowledge. And knowing more than an opponent will end all battles. But
I actually do agree that knowledge may apply more in this situation than peace.
Should we lay the book at its feet?
I don't know that this book is the best source of knowledge. Etiquette is fine and all, but I don't know that
True.
it is the highest sought by king.
And there is no weapon here that embodies
Knowledge.
Should we attempt to search a little bit more before we answer?
I was going to suggest giving Fellhound meat, because that seems to apply, except the coveted part. But it does bring warriors to ruin and end all battles.
In a manner of speaking, that is certainly true.
If you call the spins... what is the orange thing?
That is the hut.
It should be twice that big.
It is large enough to encompass all of us. It's 9 spaces, basically.
Yep. It is.
Oh, yep. 20-foot radius.
Oh, dang.
Okay.
That's like most of the size of the room, actually.
It fits very nicely right up here. Assuming that's where you were casting it.
Yes.
Wait, is it a 20-foot radius or 20-foot diameter?
I believe it's a 10-foot radius. Sorry,
Oh,
10-foot radius.
All right.
Yes.
Yes. I will be right up in here as well, down by Matthias. All right. Well, what shall we look at the room a little bit more?
Well, I think in this situation, peace applies the most.
Very well. I will.
We
Look at the
could
king.
give him the book and the olive leaf.
Let's just
branch.
do one first. I think that trying to hedge our bets by doing two will get us attacked.
FYI, the staff is also emanating a slight magical aura. The staff on
Ooh.
the statue's belt.
Okay. I'm gonna start by just giving it the olive branch and then ducking back into the.
Okay. As you give it the olive branch, let's see. As you give it the olive branch, you're behind the king, so you don't see anything that happens right now. You do hear a slight grinding of stone. As you look around, the solemn expressions on the statues turn to smiles,
Oh, that's encouraging.
and a warm yellow light, almost like that of a summer's day, begins emanating from the kingly statue as a passageway opens up here.
I'm gonna start looking around at the weapons. Do they still have a magical aura?
Yes, 3 of them still do. Kingslayer does, Peacemaker does, and Widowmaker does.
I'm going to take Peacemaker.
Okay, so Peacemaker is a longsword.
I can't
Yeah.
use it.
May I take Midnight Sun?
You may.
Even without the magical aura, the Legends of the Monk Quarterstaff would be exciting to me.
You may. And upon closer inspection, you can tell it's probably not the Midnight Sun of Legend, just a very high quality copy.
A replica.
A replica. Yes.
It's still a monk weapon. I'll grab it just in case.
All right, and I will take the. It's a pity that there's no dagger.
So, is the Center King's staff still glowing? I guess I wouldn't see it, but
Yeah, everything that was magical is still magical.
All right, I'm actually going to take. I'm going to ask if anyone would like a magical longsword of unknown qualities, and just kind of carry it for a moment, and then go pick up the staff from the king in the middle.
I'm gonna take a look at all the weapons around here and say, I think the only one that I could actually use is the rapier.
The Kingslayer.
Yeah. I don't know that I want such an ominous sounding weapon, but
Well, and for me, it's I have no way to detect whether something is evil or not. My personal evil sense is messed up.
Brielle may take the long sword if no one else. No one else.
I will hand it to Brielle. You know what? I'm going to offer it to Brielle in trade for her ring of spell storing.
the gauntlet.
Yes.
I'm not going to make that trade without Brielle being here.
She will take some time to think about it.
Yes.
Yes, she will. She will take time to think about that.
maybe worth identifying the sword first.
I'm going to take the rod from the king, and then I personally recommend we take a moment and try and figure out what these are. So I'm going to meditate.
We may really need Brielle to learn Remove Curse.
I'm going to sit down with the staff and just kind of meditate on the staff for a while.
Okay. Did anybody take the longsword? Yes, Peacemaker. Anybody take the longbow?
I left the long sword just kind of propped up next to the king.
I'm curious if I can hold the longbow. So I would have picked it up. I don't know that I'll take it with me.
You can pick it up, but you can't pull the string. Something seems to be keeping you from using it or doing any more than just holding it.
I think I'll see if I can sling it over my shoulder with my other bow and let the
It
curses
stays.
fight.
It stays. but you're pretty sure. Well, yeah, it stays. It doesn't like magically poof off or anything. But as you spend some time thinking about it, you can't seem to wrap your mind around the magic. There seems to be some external force hindering your ability to do that.
I make the point that in the discussion that, or in the text that Brielle read to us, that we were supposed to ask permission from the owner. I'm thinking that may apply to this situation as well, and that these weapons may belong to the king in the center, and asking permission may not be such a bad idea.
This is a true point, and I'm actually going to lay my hand on the staff and basically prop it back up where it was, and then ask the statue permission to take the staff.
Okay, you ask the statue, and notice no change in no change in the central statue, and no change in any of the other statues. They still all have that soft smile on their face. The central statue is still emanating a warm yellow glow.
May I recommend speaking in Draconic?
I do not speak Draconic.
May
I'll try it in deep speech.
I speak Draconic.
And as you're not a tiger right now, you're probably the best bet.
Yeah. So I can. So I will ask Helen who she wants me to address.
Would you please address the king in the center and ask him for permission to take these items?
Of course. So I'll address the king. I'll say, we would like permission to take the weapon items out of the temple.
The smile remains, the soft yellow glow remains, but no other discernible response.
All right, I'll take that as a yes.
So I will note for the party that the temple seems to be dedicated to Eden, and that one of the weapons was specifically linked to her. So it may be useful eventually.
I then make the suggestion that maybe the king is not the owner of the weapons, but maybe the statue that is holding it.
Oh, this is a well. I asked the king for the permission to take the staff he was holding.
Oh, okay.
So
Andrew would not Artemilius would bow to the yellow statue with the monk staff anyway, as he took it.
No response from the statue, just the slight smile on its face.
all right. Well, I'm going to take the staff, and I'm going to just kind of sit down and begin to meditate on the staff, trying to get some ideas from my patron, Kirad, as to what's going on with the staff and what it is.
I would like to look at Oath Shatterer and see. I mean, I can't see magic, but I'd like to see if it looks authentic as far as a relic goes.
Oath Shatter, make an investigation check.
$19.
Okay. Oath Shatter was rumored to be one of the most powerful weapons ever forged. This weapon doesn't seem to be the actual Oath Shatterer, just a high-quality replica. Helen, by the way, as you are focusing and attuning on this, you do notice this door disappears, and all of the statues around the room disappear as well. Just slowly fade until you are left in an empty room. There is a door down here at the bottom, down there, an open door, but that's it. Empty room and an open door.
And we have the items we took, but all the other items have vanished.
Yes.
Wow. It was probably a good thing to take those then.
You find that you have a Skyblinder staff. That's a specific staff that you took. Matthias, were you focusing on the rapier?
I was.
You find it's a rapier of life stealing, so you can add that to your inventory.
Ooh.
I think Helen still has the long sword, so we'll leave that there. Okay, perfect.
Was the long bow still magical? I was trying to remember. The Widowmaker wasn't.
Yes, Widowmaker was magical, but it seems
And it won't attune because...
yeah, you can't seem to attune to it.
Oh, okay. Skyblinder staff. Hang on. I don't have Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. Give me about 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes. About 2 minutes.
Oh,
And
if
I now have...
let me double check and make sure that that was right. I believe it's a Skyblinder staff. Yeah, there's a Skyblinder staff. So specifically what it does, here I can pull that up for you real quick. And if needs be, I can create that as a magic item.
One moment. I will own the Skyblinder staff on my D&D Beyond account in about 30 seconds.
So
is there anything special about the staff that I picked up? Not magical, but
nope,
just a quarterstaff?
Just a replica, just a quarterstaff. The Skyblinder staff gives you a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls, also a +1 attack and damage bonus. And if a flying creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll against you, you can use a reaction to hold the staff aloft and cause it to flare with light, which gives the attacker disadvantage on the attack roll and forces them to make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or be blinded until the start of its next turn.
Nice.
Sweet. Yeah, I will definitely be keeping that.
Would have been good against those harpies, huh?
Yeah. That doesn't require attunement. Holy crap.
Actually, it does. Skyblinder staff requires attunement.
Oh, yep. Okay, there we go. I will have attuned to it over there. I was looking at it wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what would the party like to do at this point? The room is empty, save for an open door down on this corner.
Oh, that's a good item.
Since it's the only way out, I would walk out first, probably.
Well, this would be a great place to take a short rest. Just saying.
Yeah, and I just actually did so that I could identify the item.
Okay,
so if Helen's waiting for an hour, we probably should too.
Okay. So everyone can mark a successful short rest.
Do we know what time of day it is?
You do not. But good question. Unless one of you has the
keen mind feat.
Yes, if one of you has the keen mind feat, then you would. But I don't think any of you have that feat.
I do not. I'm incredibly observant, but I don't have the keen mind feat. All right. So with that, do I learn anything about the longsword?
If you focus on the longsword, you do learn it's a longsword of dragon slaying.
Oh, nice. Okay. I will carry that for now, and then give it to your. I will offer to trade it to Brielle for her ring.
When Brielle is back, that sounds like a discussion the two of you can have.
And during the short rest, I'd like... Well, I don't know if Sildar's going to come out of his tiger form or not. I don't know if he can maintain it through a short rest or not.
Ooh, let's check Sildar. I'm unsure how long he can use his wild shape for. 1 hour. Okay, he's back.
Okay. Then I'm assuming he would have dropped that at the beginning of the rest, because I want to help him train me how to use a shield.
Oh, okay. He can begin training to gain proficiency in a shield. So let's see. There are specific rules for gaining proficiency that don't involve taking a feat to do it. So let me double check right here. I think it's in the downtime rules. Okay.
There's also a method that I homebrewed, which is pretty cool. Of course, I don't know how difficult it is to learn a shield, and I think that's the difficult part here.
That would be. So for a skill specifically, it's 250 days and 250 gold pieces. With Sildar training you, unless Sildar decides to charge you money, it's not going to cost you anything. I don't think a shield is going to take you 250 days to learn how to use. I would say, here, let me do some math here real quick. Okay, so we've got 250 days seems long. So I would say with 12 weeks of training, 12 dedicated weeks of training, you can become proficient in the use of a shield without having to spend any sort of feat for it.
Okay.
I'll heal 1 hit die on the short rest, but
Okay.
so that's 7.
Perfect. Okay. Your short rest has completed, unless there's anything else you'd like to do during the short rest.
Not at this time.
Okay. So, party going to go through the door?
Yep.
We're gonna. Okay. You
I'll
enter
probably walk out first.
a room that looks exactly the same as the foyer that you entered, and the 2 foyers that you've been in. This time there's the statue of a white dragon and a silver dragon, and then the familiar red and gold. Now, the white dragon is holding an orb emanating that same green glowing light, almost like a spring day. The orb that the silver dragon is holding has also lit up with the same yellow summer light that the elf statue king was emanating. One thing that you notice that's interesting, though, is the light emanating from both of these orbs is dimmer than it was. In fact, it's reduced in light by about 1/3. So, compared to what it used to be.
We may have a time limit here.
Okay, let's keep going then, shall we?
I would like to look through the door behind us and see if the room is still there.
It has closed. There are murals on the walls as well in this room, as well as carvings above the door on the north side. The western wall is a relief of a background set against fields full of grains ready for the harvest, with 9 distinct figures meeting together, surrounded by armies of elves, dwarves, gnomes, and humans. Dragons and fiends circle at the edge of the relief, and each of the central 9 figures holds a shining weapon or a shining tome. On the eastern wall, there's a relief set against a background of harvested fields of grains and orchard. Shows the 9 figures with the shining weapons and tomes leading armies against the fiends and the dragons. The large green dragon, Eden, is watching the battle from the rear. 4 carvings are above this door to the north. There is a strong man lifting 2 barrels, one with each hand over his head. There's a picture of a raging dragon. There's the carving of an ox. And there's the image of soldiers performing exercises and drills. And this door is unlocked.
Okay. I would like to make a history check. Would I be able to make that with advantage since it's a continuation of Eden's story that I identified earlier?
You actually don't even have to make one because these 9 figures are tied in with Eden's story. The legend goes that Eden formed the army from the most powerful, vicious fiends and dragons, and that it took 9 legendary figures who went on to found the 9 largest nations on the continent of Voyan to stop him, each wielding legendary weapons or legendary magics. These 9 depicted figures, you assume, are those 9 legendary figures.
Sweet.
Cool. I'll tell people about the story as we walk across the room.
Are any of the murals magic?
None of the murals are magic.
Ote.
Okay. With that, I will push the door open.
Okay, let's move you guys into the next room. And I think we may just have time for this one. Okay, this room. Let me pop down and find that here. Okay, so you enter a large room. There's a deep pit set in the middle with a rushing river at the bottom of the pit. Oh, good, you're on the right. You're on the right one. A door stands on the far side of the room up here. Barred from opening by 3 distinct metal rods, one sticking here, one coming down from above, and one sticking out from here. The walls around here are reliefs.
Could you ping where they're coming from? I didn't see it.
So one up from the top of the door, and then one on each side of the door.
Oh,
just
great.
kind of sticking in here, and then one coming down, keeping it sealed. The reliefs and the pictures on the wall show ships fighting mighty storms.
So, anchors was already an answer here in the dungeon. Are there anchors on the ships?
Yeah, some of the ships have anchors, some of them don't.
Does anyone in our group happen to know the spell Water Breathe?
Nope. Tie a rope to
Riel
me.
doesn't have it either. Pity.
I'm gonna tie a rope to me and have Sildar hold on to the other end, and I'm gonna go for a swim.
Okay. As you approach the edge, you actually notice some alcoves. And I'm going to draw real quick on here. We're just going to draw let's see. We're going to draw rectangles on here. I'm just going to do gray rectangles. And I believe that's, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's an alcove right here. There's an alcove right here. There's an alcove right here. And there is an alcove right here. Now, each of these alcoves is about 15 feet down from the ledge and seems to go into the wall about 10 feet. Each of them also has an iron lever. Now, this iron lever up here, okay. The iron lever in the alcove up here is flipped, so it's facing a different direction than these 3. The iron levers in these 3 are all towards the water. The one in this one has been flipped to away from the water.
Well, let's try that one first.
That's a good idea.
So me and Sildar are gonna come over here. He's gonna rappel me down, and I'm gonna try to push it.
Okay. Artemilis, what are you doing?
I was going to say I could try jumping down, but...
So the pit, by the way, is about 50 feet deep, FYI. So the water's about 50 feet down. But Matthias, you're able to easily make it down. You pull the lever. You hear the sound of metal grating against stone as a 4th bar comes up from the bottom of the door and connects into the central locking mechanism, sealing the door from an additional direction.
Since I can't see that, I'll just yell, "What happened?"
I will directly talk into your mind and say another bar goes across the door.
Well, we don't want that, and I'm just going to pull it back the other direction.
You pull it back the other direction. The rest of you up there see the bar that came up from the bottom go back down onto the floor.
I'm going to use Mage Hand to toggle this one right here.
Okay. So Helen reaches out, grabs this one with Mage Hand, and pulls it. A 12-foot opening, as soon as you pull it, begins opening. It opens against, actually around the, not a 12-foot opening, my apologies, but little alcoves open up high on the wall and water begins rushing out, making it slick and standing on the ledge fairly difficult to do. I need everybody who's standing up on the ledge, which is not you, Matthias, because you are down here within the alcove. Everybody on the ledge make a strength saving throw. DC is 7 for this one.
Crap. Strength saving throw?
Strength saving throw.
6.
11 for...
Oh!
Oh no!
I have craft strength.
Oh And for Sildar, that's not good either.
Oh,
But
no.
he's got a +6 for a strength
10.
saving throw. Okay, he's good. Oh!
Oh my goodness!
That's Ichabod on a nat 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple of things happen. Fortunately, Sildar almost loses his footing, but maintains it. Helen, the water takes you straight down into the pit. You take 15 points of bludgeoning damage as the water crashes you up against the wall. You are now struggling against. So you now have to you now have to survive down in the pit. You have a few turns before you start drowning. So, Ichabod, same thing happens to you. You fall into the pit, taking 13 points of bludgeoning damage as the water rams you up against the wall. So both Ichabod and Helen have fallen into the pits.
Okay, I'm going to have Sildar run to the other side. I'll untie the rope from myself and swim over to the other side so that I can help them.
Okay,
That is much appreciated.
so you're going to jump down into the water to try to swim.
Well,
Now,
how far away is the water from me?
So the water is 35. Well, let's see.
So if you let the rope all the way down, you should be to the water.
Okay,
It's
so
about a 30-foot drop to the water. It is a rushing river. So
I will go down to the water before I untie the rope, and I'll have Sildar help me down.
Okay. So
Michael or Matthias, while you're doing this, Helen tells you, just have Sildar carry you around to us.
Okay. That works. So I'll go this way, like that. And Sildar will do the same.
okay. Perfect. So this is going to take. So Sildar's coming around too. This is going to take about a couple of rounds. In the meantime, Artemiles, what are you doing?
You know what, guys? I have Featherfall.
Yeah.
Oh.
So do I. But
Oh well, hindsight's a bummer.
Yes. We know it now.
By the way, with that poll, you did notice, as Helen pulled this one, you did notice the top bar went straight up into the ceiling. So now there are only 2 bars holding the door closed.
okay, Artemiles does want to help the others, but most of the rooms have calmed down quite a bit once we solve the puzzles. So he is going to try to just hang himself over the edge and swing himself down into one of the alcoves that we haven't pulled yet.
Okay, so you guys are heading over there to help Helen and Ichabod, who are now drowning in the river. Artemiles, make a acrobatics check.
Curse not having the bow recharged. I don't know what it just did. It rolled like 5 times.
Oh, wow. We'll take the first roll. 12, that's enough. You're able to just barely swoop down into there, into this alcove. The lever is before you.
Okay, I will pull the lever.
Okay.
I will yell up to the people at top and say I'm pulling another lever.
So,
And then pull the lever.
you hear the creaking of stone. You probably noticed that the map has gone black, yes?
Yes.
It does.
Okay, this is because as you guys, both Matthias and Sildar, head over here, suddenly the entire room goes black. Artemiles, you yell out, dead silence. None of you can hear anything going on. None of you, in fact, Helen and Ichabod, the roaring, rushing of water, no sound.
Is this
It's still there. it's still crushing. This is magical darkness, so Helen, you can see
it.
through it, but nobody else can.
You're also currently drowning, but
Yes. Yes.
I am going to yell at Matthias in his head. Matthias, keep coming around. It's I'll direct you. We gotta get out of the water.
Okay.
how far was the whole pit across?
The pit is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 feet across.
Okay. And the last one to be pulled is the one directly across from me, right?
Correct.
Hmm.
Do you know what my jump distance is with Step of the Wind? I'm not sure how to calculate it.
Ooh, let me pull up your character sheet and look at Step of the Wind. In the meantime, Matthias, you do hear the voice in your head, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can't hear anything else, dead silence, you do hear Helen's voice in your head. You can't see anything.
Okay.
Keep moving to your left.
You also need to talk to Sildar.
Yes, Sildar, keep moving to the left. Stay away from the edge, feel it out.
Okay. And what specifically are Sildar and Matthias doing?
We're just doing what we were before, getting to the other side. And
Okay.
then when we are on the other side, he'll drop me the rest of the way down, and I will grab the two.
Okay. I need
At
all
least
of
let
you-
them. I'll grab their arms and put their arms on the rope, because
I need all of you to make another strength saving throw who are still up above. So that would be Brielle, Sildar, and
Ichabod. No, Ichabod fell.
I think it's just Brielle and Sildar.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Matthias is hanging suspended and Artemiles is down.
That's true. And both Brielle and Sildar are able to stay up there. Okay. I'm trying to find out where you're. Let's see.
I
Oh,
really
this is.
haven't been able to find it. I was curious.
Okay, so you are. Let's see. You're a monk. Here we go. So we've got Step of the Wind. No, that wouldn't be it.
Step of
Okay.
the Wind doubles the distance, but
Your jumping speed from standing, I believe, is what is it? Your strength score?
That's a great question.
5e jumping distance. You leap a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier.
Is it
So
when
you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet immediately before you. When you make a standing long jump, you can leap only half that distance.
hey,
Now these alcoves do go into the wall about 10 feet.
even so, my strength's low enough that I'd only make 16 feet without.
Okay. So at this point, so it's been about 30 seconds. Both Ichabod and Helen, keep that in mind. So how drowning works, just FYI, so you guys are so we're all on the same page. You get 1 plus your Constitution bonus minutes of holding your breath underwater. After that time has passed, your hit points fall to 0, and then you can survive for rounds equal to your Constitution modifier, a minimum of 1 round.
My con modifier is -1.
So it's at the minimum of 1 minute.
Okay.
I'm going to say so. So
You have
you're
30 seconds left.
halfway there. I'm going to make. Let's see. So, how are you directing Matthias at this point, Matthias and Sildar?
Where is Matthias in relation to us right now?
So Matthias is here. Let me reveal the areas. This is for you. So Matthias is about right here. He's pretty close.
Matthias, drop to the water.
Ote.
Sildar, lower Matthias to the water.
So Sildar will lower Matthias to the water.
I'm going to grab Ichabod's hand and kind of direct Ichabod over to Matthias, and then clasp onto Matthias's hand myself.
Okay.
So I call down to Helen and ask, should I try to lasso the other switch?
No, just let me get up there. I'll get it with magic.
Helen, you hear absolutely nothing.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
That's
right.
All right. At this point, I tell Sildar, pull us up.
Well,
in
when
his
I don't
mind,
hear
correct?
anything, I will try to throw the rope across. I can't see anything, but it should be a straight shot.
Make a make an acrobatics check with disadvantage.
Oh,
8.
8. Okay. You feel the rope kind of drop. Doesn't seem taut. Doesn't seem like it caught onto anything. So Sildar has gotten you guys about halfway up. Let me take another roll for him real quick to see. Okay, he keeps his footing, and
he can cast guidance on himself, correct?
I believe.
Hang on, guys. I just lost sound. Huh. One second. Hey, can you guys hear me? Huh. The heck is going on? Hey, what's up? Oh my gosh, is that... I just had some huge problems. What the heck did Discord do? Okay, I just turned Bluetooth off.
We can't hear Michael. Huh.
Okay.
Please bear with us for just a
I
moment.
have to go. I love you. Okay, bye.
Now we can hear Michael again. Okay.
hey, welcome.
All right.
So he
figured
didn't
out-
just sound female.
What happened?
Okay, so for whatever reason, the Discord or my computer or I don't know what happened, but just decided to connect to my wife's Crushers. Her headset.
Huh.
That's odd.
Yeah. So I
Goof.
lost all audio and yeah.
We got your wife's feed. It was it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That'll be fun to watch later.
Matthias was just getting into the whole silence and darkness spirit of things.
Yep, absolutely.
right,
Matthias, he pulls you up as well. Helen, you can see clearly up here.
I'm just going to go over and kind of crawl so that I can keep my stability.
Make a strength check with advantage.
Okay.
Strength saving throw. So. Okay, that's good enough. Helen is able to stay
That's
up.
good.
That was good. It was with advantage, huh? So you're able to stay up here. I'll open up the area and show you. Helen, you get to about here.
I'm going to reach down with Mage Hand and flip that switch, and then roll away from the edge.
as the last switch pulls, the water stops pouring from the ceiling. The darkness lifts. Can you all see the whole map again?
No.
Nope, just Helen.
Yeah, just
Okay. Let us reveal.
Everything.
Yes. Okay. Reveal areas. Turn on fog of war. Okay. I thought I could just turn it off and that would fix everything, but that's not how this works. Okay. So
It's still on.
there we go. We're just going to do it in smaller bits and chunks. As you regain vision of everything, the entire room, Raging River still down there at the bottom, still crashing and crashing. But
I'm going to move as far away from that as I possibly can.
the water has stopped pouring down. The light has come back into the room. You all can hear each other again. And the last bar keeping the store up here closed has removed itself from the door.
I'm going to go straight up to that door and
I'm gonna make a
push it
comment.
open.
Do you think there's treasure at the bottom of that?
No, there's no treasure down there, only death.
I will ask my friendly passing Sildar if I can get a hand out of the pit, because apparently I'm not as good at jumping as I thought.
A rope drops down, and you are able to make an athletics check.
Yay, I'm able to make an athletics.
I think this one would be with advantage because Sildar is helping you.
Oh, man. I don't know what we would have done in this room.
I like that advantage because that's a nat 20 unnatural.
That was
19.
Holy crap.
I mean, I wouldn't take any damage from falling, but I still prefer not.
You slip as you first come out of the room, but fortunately you've got a firm grip on, so after a little readjustment, you're able to pull yourself back up, and you all enter into the next room, which we will cover in the next session, just to give you all a brief description of this room so that you know what to look forward to. So this room, it's about 30 feet high. It is nearly pitch black, but not quite pitch black.
Dang it.
There is some sort of vault here in the middle, some sort of sealed area. You can see a barred gate with some sort of altar through the barred gate. And there are two gigantic, sticking up out of the ground, seems like almost buttons, perhaps would be a word for them.
Scales or...
Yeah.
Question for you, Andrew, on this. Would this room count as being in darkness or dim light?
This is very dim light. It is not darkness.
Dang it. All right. Okay.
So with that, that is where the party will find themselves next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the live stream. Thanks for watching as Matthias saved the day and rescued his two drowning comrades. We are still working away at getting those table tokens out to you. We are grateful for your support. Tune in 2 weeks' time. Remember, no live stream next week, so 2 weeks' time, tune in. We'll have Sydney and Cam back, so look forward to seeing what happens in this next room. Take care, guys.
Boy.